Hi, if you struggle with anger in your life and you'd like that struggle to end, I'm going to be sharing some important steps with you that you can implement right away and where you can see real progress to ending your anger problem. Hi, I'm Dirk Hansen, and the title of this video is 3 Steps to End Anger Now. I'll be sharing some important information that will hopefully improve your life and the lives of those around you. When it comes to anger, there are 3 primary steps that you can take to address and hopefully end your anger outbursts and destructive emotions. So let's look at step 1. If you are struggling with your anger and you want to address it, then the first thing to do is to discover what makes you tick emotionally. In other words, learn to understand yourself. If you really want to end your anger problem, you need to begin with delving deep and trying to understand your unique experience of anger, both when and why you get angry. I can't stress this step too much, as anger is essentially a reaction to something, meaning you usually can't predict when it will happen. Then you need to try to understand when, how, and why those reactions occur. Without this deeper understanding of your anger reactions, you won't have the tools to counteract it, control it, or prevent it from happening. Just focusing on the more practical outcomes of your anger and controlling these reactions is not enough. You need to understand why you get angry in the first place. Or, for example, why you get angry in some situations but not in others. Anger is always personal and unique. And in fact, I would propose that your anger is quite specific and happens under certain specific conditions, like a button that's been pushed or a switch flipped for you at a particular moment and in a particular situation. Therefore, the key to controlling or ending these reactions is to clearly understand those conditions and situations and why they stir strong emotions within you. Anger is unique to you as an individual, and if you want to get a handle on it, you must first get a handle on your own emotional self. So, you may be asking, how do I do this? How do I do a deeper analysis? How can I learn more about these reactions? Well, there are 2 ways you can do this. The first way is to get professional assistance through psychotherapy, a process where you become more self-aware by looking objectively at things about yourself that maybe you just can't see because you can't step out of yourself. A psychotherapist can offer you professional, objective observation into your life to shed more light on your reactions, beliefs, and emotions that may be driving the anger reactions. If for some reason psychotherapy is not available or possible for you, a second option would be for you to do your own self-reflection or self-analysis by looking at your historical anger events and looking for patterns in them. The fact that you are watching this video would suggest that you know there's a problem with your anger and you want to get rid of its damaging effects. So, with that motivation, you can begin to do some reflection, observe the times you've gotten angry, and explore what was happening around you. What were the circumstances, and what was happening within you? What was triggered or set off emotionally within you that led to anger reactions? The key to this process is to look for patterns or themes and begin to learn more about your emotional self and what needs to be dealt with or understood for you to be less reactive and therefore less angry. A second way to end anger, step 2, is, where possible, avoid triggering situations that provoke anger emotions. If you find it difficult to do self-reflection or undertake psychotherapy, which I understand it might be, but you still want to end anger, then this step can help you on the way. If you feel vulnerable to your anger and feel that you lack control, you can try putting protections in place to lessen the chance that anger will emerge. Even if you aren't able to do a deep analysis of your emotional self through psychotherapy, you should be able to create some understanding of patterns of where and when your anger emerges. And as this step suggests, you can do something about it by strategizing to avoid certain situations. For instance, if you get angry when you drink too much alcohol, or you get angry when discussing politics or other topics, then you can plan to avoid these activities and spare yourself and others around you from an angry outburst. These are just simple examples, and they may not apply to you, but if you think about it more, you may discover something that applies to you, and you can link your anger to certain situations. If you still feel you cannot control your anger, then you can at least control your actions and anticipate situations where you are more likely to lose control. It is also important to leave situations or take a time out when anger is escalating within you. Do something to diffuse the anger and avoid negative outcomes. A simple technique when anger emerges is to stop, realize you are getting angry, take a breath, and exhale slowly. Then ask yourself the question, why am I getting angry? This technique will act as a way to slow down the process and hopefully diffuse the emotional reaction enough that you can choose a safer behavior as a next step. Ideally, doing the deeper reflection on your emotional self to understand what makes you angry and why is important. But even gaining some understanding is also useful in preventing anger outbursts. Finally, the third step in ending anger is to address the imbalances in your life and de-stress where possible. If your life lacks balance, meaning that you are over-focused on certain things like work or family dynamics or world problems or how people treat you, it is possible that you have started to see your life through a narrow or rigid viewpoint. If your life is narrowed down, or you have become preoccupied with certain things happening a certain way, then when you encounter disappointments or day-to-day obstacles, you will be vulnerable to getting angry or reactive emotionally. This is due in part to the fact that your expectations for happiness or well-being have been narrowed down to a small set of circumstances working out a certain way. This narrow view can set you up to negative outcomes and thus negative emotions. Instead, try to open up your viewpoint and broaden your daily activities, getting exercise, developing a social life, building up resilience and flexibility. This will assist in your journey of self-understanding, and it will lower your stress overall, hopefully having a positive effect on your anger and your emotions.